The 70s weren't just about disco balls and bell-bottoms, they gave us some of the best Christmas music ever recorded. These are 10 Christmas songs from the 70s you forgot were awesome. Number 10. Happy Xmas, War is Over by John Lennon and Yoko Ono. 1971. John Lennon and Yoko Ono wrote this song in their New York hotel room one morning in July 1971. By the time they finished their coffee, the song was done. John wanted to create something that could compete with White Christmas. He was tired of hearing the same old songs every year. What he created was something entirely different. A Christmas song with a message. The song came from a peace campaign John and Yoko had started back in 1969. They put up billboards in major cities around the world that simply said, "War is over, if you want it." 2 years later, that slogan became the foundation for this Christmas single. With the Vietnam War still raging, the timing couldn't have been more relevant. They recorded it at the record plant in New York with producer Phil Spector in late October 1971. The Harlem Community Choir provided the children's vocals, giving the song its innocent, hopeful quality. At the beginning, you can hear John and Yoko whispering to their children. Yoko whispers, "Happy Christmas, Kyoko," and John whispers, "Happy Christmas, Julian." It's a personal touch that makes the grand anti-war statement feel intimate. The song was released in America on December 1st, 1971, but it flopped. It barely cracked the top 40. The problem was timing. It came out too late for proper promotion before Christmas. In the UK, a dispute over publishing rights delayed its release until November 1972, where it finally hit number 4 on the charts. But after John's death in 1980, the song took on new meaning. It became the Christmas classic he always wanted it to be. Today it's played every year, right alongside White Christmas. John would have been pleased. Number 9. Merry Xmas, Everybody by Slade, 1973. Bassist Jim Lee was in the shower trying to think of their next number 1 when his mother-in-law's challenge popped into his head. She had asked him why Slade never wrote a song that could be played every year like White Christmas. Jim had dismissed the idea as stupid, but standing there in the shower in 1973, he decided to prove he could do it. He came up with the music and took it to vocalist Noddy Holder. Noddy went to his parents' house, locked himself in his old bedroom with a bottle of whiskey, and wrote all the lyrics in one night. The opening line came to him fully formed. That iconic scream, "It's Christmas!" became instantly recognizable.
It's Christmas! Are you happy?
They recorded it in New York in July 1973 during a sweltering heat wave. They were in the studio next door to John Lennon, and they actually borrowed his harmonium for the intro. But they faced a serious problem. Drummer Don Powell had just been in a terrible car accident. His memory was damaged, and he couldn't remember how to play the song all the way through. For the first time ever, Slade had to record in layers, bit by bit, rather than their usual live take approach. It took forever, but they got it done. The song was released in early December 1973 and went straight to number 1 on the first day. It stayed there through January. It was Slade's 3rd song that year to go straight to number 1, something even the Beatles had never accomplished. 50 years later, the song still returns to the UK charts every December. It generates over £500,000 in royalties annually. Noddy Holder has called it his pension, and who can blame him? It's one of the greatest Christmas songs ever written, perfectly capturing both the joy and the nostalgia of the season. Number 8. I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day by Wizard, 1973. Roy Wood had a vision. After leaving the Electric Light Orchestra, he formed Wizard and wanted to create a proper rock and roll Christmas song. The early 70s had seen novelty acts dominate the Christmas charts. Jimmy Osmond, Benny Hill. Wood thought the holiday deserved better.
I wish
He wrote and produced the song in 1973, determined to make it big and bold. He wanted every possible Christmas sound. Sleigh bells, children's voices, glockenspiels, even a cash register. Yes, an actual cash register. They hired a proper old-fashioned metal one with scrollwork on the sides. Roy pressed the buttons while bassist Rick Price dropped coins in. That distinctive cha-ching at the beginning became one of the song's most memorable elements. To create a Christmas atmosphere while recording in August, they decorated the studio with tinsel and Christmas ornaments. They cranked the air conditioning down to freezing. Roy wore a woolly hat he found in the lost property, and they brought in a choir of school children from Stockland Green School in Birmingham. 12-year-old Hilary Gunton later remembered her mother being worried about letting her go to London with these rock types, but Hilary threatened to never speak to her again if she wasn't allowed to go. When Roy heard those kids singing his song in the control room, he got choked up. The hairs stood up on the back of his neck. The song was released in December of 1973 and shot up the charts. It peaked at number 4, held off the top spot by Slade's Merry Xmas Everybody. It must have been frustrating. 2 incredible Christmas songs released the same year, and neither artist knew what the other was doing. But Roy never cried about it. He was happy just to have a hit. What's remarkable is that in 1981, when they wanted to re-release it, the original master tapes had been lost. They had to re-record the whole thing, bringing in a new group of school children to recreate those iconic vocals. Most people listening today have probably never even noticed. Number 7. Step Into Christmas by Elton John, 1973. In 1973 was an incredible year for Elton John. He had released 2 massive albums, Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only, The Piano Player, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. He was at the absolute peak of his creative powers, so he and Bernie Taupin decided to write a Christmas song as a thank you to their fans. The song was written on a Sunday morning and recorded that same afternoon at London's Trident Studios. Guitarist Davy Johnstone came up with a riff, and Elton built the entire song around it. Bernie's lyrics were pure holiday excess, gift-giving, partying, communal cheer. Nothing religious, nothing heavy, just pure fun. Elton mentioned the word Christmas 20 times in the song. He wanted no one to miss the point. They recorded it quickly, bringing in that Phil Spector wall of sound production style, layered orchestration, festive bombast, the whole package. Bernie Taupin even made a cameo in the video playing Tubular Bells. The original promo video was shot at Morgan Studios in London. Low budget, but full of energy. Elton wore a red feather boa and oversized sunglasses, surrounded by confetti and balloons. The song was released on November 26, 1973. Unfortunately, it had to compete with 2 absolute Christmas juggernauts that same year, Slade's Merry Xmas Everybody and Wizard's I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. In that company, Step Into Christmas stalled at number 26 in the UK, but Elton never seemed bothered by it. The song has endured beautifully, re-entering the charts regularly and becoming a staple of holiday playlists. In 2024, Elton even released a new video featuring British actress Cara Delevingne playing him, introducing the song to an entirely new generation. Number 6. I Believe in Father Christmas by Greg Lake, 1975. Greg Lake of Emerson, Lake and Palmer created something unusual in 1975. He wrote a Christmas song that wasn't really a Christmas song at all. Lyrically, it's shot through with disappointment and disillusionment. It's about how Christmas had let him down, how the commercialism and greed had overshadowed the holiday's original meaning. What made it brilliant was the music. Lake set these dark, cynical lyrics to Troika, a piece written by Prokofiev. The melody is undeniably festive, almost triumphant. So you have this contradiction. Music that sounds like Christmas paired with words that question the whole enterprise, the result is haunting and beautiful.
I believed in Father Christmas. I looked to the sky.
The song was released in November 1975, and in almost any other year it would have been a certain number one, but 1975 was the year of Bohemian Rhapsody. Queen's epic held I Believe in Father Christmas at number 2. Still, the song found its audience. It became one of the thinking person's Christmas songs, the one you could admit to liking if you were too cool for the overly sentimental stuff. Over the years, it's been interpreted many ways. Some heard it as anti-commercialism, others heard it as a meditation on lost innocence. The ambiguity is what makes it endure. It's a Christmas song for people who have complicated feelings about Christmas. And in 1975, with inflation, strikes, and general economic misery in the UK, a lot of people had complicated feelings.
I believed in Father Christmas. I looked to the
Number 5. Lonely. This Christmas by Mud, 1974. Mud were a glam rock band having a string of hits in the mid-70s. Their sound was usually upbeat and energetic, built for dancing and good times. But in 1974, they did something completely different. They released a melancholic ballad about spending Christmas alone after a breakup, Lonely. This Christmas went straight to number 1 in the UK in December 1974, striking an emotional chord with anyone who'd ever experienced heartbreak during the holidays. Lead singer Les Gray's raspy vocals sold the song. You could hear the pain in his voice as he sang about being lonely without you to hold. It wasn't joyful. It wasn't about snow and presents and families gathered around the tree. It was about loss and loneliness and isolation, set against the backdrop of everyone else's forced cheer and celebration.
It'll be lonely this Christmas.
The song tapped into something real. Not everyone has a happy Christmas. For people going through divorce, dealing with grief, mourning a death, or just feeling isolated and forgotten, the relentless cheeriness of the season can feel oppressive and even cruel. Mud gave voice to that darker side of the holidays. They made it okay to admit that Christmas can be hard, that it can hurt, that sometimes you just have to survive it.
It'll be cold, so cold.
What's remarkable is that a song this sad became a number 1 Christmas hit. It shows that audiences were ready for something more honest, something that reflected their actual experiences rather than some idealized fantasy of perfect families and perfect holidays. Lonely. This Christmas proved that Christmas songs didn't have to be happy to resonate. Sometimes the saddest songs are the ones that comfort us most, because they remind us we're not alone in our pain.
It'll be lonely this Christmas without you.
Number 4. The Christmas Song by Gilbert O'Sullivan, 1976.
Christmas, Happy New Year.
In the midst of all the glitz and glamour that dominated 70s Christmas music, Gilbert O'Sullivan released something refreshingly low-key and understated in 1976. His Christmas song was tender and contemplative, focusing on the deeper values the season represents rather than the commercial trappings and materialistic excess.
Let us hope that Mary's
O'Sullivan's warm, wistful vocals gave the song an almost lullaby-like quality. He sang about cherishing loved ones, about rediscovering humanity's higher virtues like hope and peace and kindness. There were no sleigh bells, no children's choirs, no cash registers, just honest reflections set to gentle music that invited you to slow down and think.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
The song didn't chart as high as some of the more bombastic releases, but it found a devoted following among listeners who wanted something different. It was the Christmas song you played when you wanted to remember what the holiday was actually supposed to be about, what it meant before advertising and consumerism took over. It urged listeners to pause, to step back from the shopping and the parties and the stress, and simply be present with the people they loved.
I'm not dreaming of a white Christmas.
O'Sullivan had always been known for his thoughtful songwriting. Songs like Alone Again, Naturally, showed his ability to tap into complex emotions with simplicity and grace. The Christmas song was another example of his gift for sincerity. In an era that often prized flash over substance, his understated approach stood out. Number 3. Santa Claus is Coming to Town by the Jackson 5, 1970. The Jackson 5 took an old standard and made it completely their own. Their 1970 version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town was pure Motown magic. Funky, soulful, bursting with energy. 10-year-old Michael Jackson's vocals were already incredible, showcasing the talent that would later make him the king of pop. The arrangement was brilliant. They injected so much soul and rhythm into the classic tune that it became impossible to sit still while listening. Those trademark high vocal riffs, the infectious groove, the sheer joy in the performance, it all came together perfectly. This wasn't your grandmother's Christmas music. This was a song that made you want to dance. Released on their Christmas album in 1970, the song became a holiday staple that still played nearly 50 years later. It introduced a whole new generation to the Jackson 5 sound. For kids in the early 70s, this might have been their first exposure to Motown, to that particular blend of pop and soul that defined the label. What's wonderful about this version is how it captures the excitement of childhood at Christmas. Michael's youthful enthusiasm is genuine and contagious. You can hear in his voice that Christmas morning feeling of anticipation and wonder. The Jackson 5 reminded everyone that Christmas music could be fun, funky, and fresh. They took a song that had been recorded countless times and made it feel brand new. Number 2. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by the Carpenters, 1978. Merry Little Christmas. Karen Carpenter had one of the most beautiful voices in popular music. When the Carpenters released their version of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas in 1978, it became the definitive version for many people. Her rich, velvety voice blended seamlessly with her brother Richard's lush arrangements, creating something genuinely comforting. The song wasn't new, it had been around since 1944, but the Carpenters made it their own. Richard's production was meticulous, layering instruments carefully to create that warm, enveloping sound they were famous for. And Karen's voice was the heart of it all, conveying both sadness and hope in equal measure. What made this version special was its sincerity. Karen never oversang. She didn't try to show off. She just delivered the lyric honestly, letting the emotion speak for itself. When she sang about troubles being out of sight and faithful friends gathering near, you believed her. You felt it. The late 70s were a complicated time. The optimism of the 60s was long gone. Economic troubles, political scandals, social upheaval, people needed comfort. The Carpenters provided that. Their version of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas became the musical equivalent of a hug. It reminded listeners that despite everything, there was still beauty and warmth to be found. The tragedy, of course, is that Karen died in 1983 at just 32 years old. Her struggles with anorexia finally taking their toll, but her voice lives on in recordings like this, offering solace and beauty to anyone who needs it. Number 1. I Want to Come Home for Christmas by Marvin Gaye, 1972. Marvin Gaye's I Want to Come Home for Christmas is one of the most emotionally powerful Christmas songs ever recorded. Released in 1972 while the Vietnam War was still raging, the song channels the desperate longing of soldiers separated from their families during the holidays. Gaye co-wrote the song himself, and you can hear the raw emotion pouring out of his unparalleled vocals. He sings from the perspective of someone far from home, yearning to be reunited with loved ones for Christmas. The ache in his voice is almost unbearable. This isn't about presents or snow or Santa. This is about survival, about making it through another day, about holding on to the hope of home. The timing was significant. In 1972, thousands of American families had empty chairs at their Christmas dinners. Sons, brothers, husbands were half a world away in Vietnam, wondering if they'd ever make it back. Gaye gave voice to that pain and that hope. He created a song that spoke directly to the heartbreak of separation. What makes the song endure is its universal message. It's not just about soldiers, though. That's its origin. It's about anyone who can't be home for Christmas. People working far away, people estranged from their families, people who've lost loved ones. That yearning for home, that desire to go back to a place of safety and love, is something everyone understands. Marvin Gaye had an extraordinary ability to convey emotion through his voice. Whether he was singing about love, social justice, or the pain of war, he connected with listeners on a deep level. I Want to Come Home for Christmas is a testament to that gift. Nearly 50 years later, its message still resonates. The hope for peace, for reunion, for home. That's timeless. The 70s gave us Christmas music that was bolder, more honest, and more diverse than anything that came before. These weren't just novelty songs or cynical cash grabs designed to make a quick buck during the holiday season. These were artists using Christmas as a canvas to create something meaningful and lasting. Whether it was John Lennon's plea for peace, Slade's explosion of pure joy, or Marvin Gaye's heartbreaking longing for home, these songs connected with real human experiences and emotions. They also reflected the decade itself. The 70s were complicated and often difficult. The optimism of the 60s had crashed and burned. Economic problems, political scandals, social change, cultural upheaval. It was messy and uncertain. And the Christmas music reflected that reality. Songs could be sad, angry, disillusioned, or questioning. They didn't have to be relentlessly cheerful. They could acknowledge that life was hard, that Christmas didn't solve everything, that sometimes you just had to get through it as best you could. But they also celebrated. They rocked out. They got funky. They brought glam and soul and raw emotion to the holiday season. The 70s proved that Christmas music could be anything. Rock, soul, glam, ballad. It just had to be honest. Many of these songs have become more popular now than when they were first released. They took time to find their audience. Some, like Happy Xmas, War's Over, didn't hit their stride until after tragedy struck. Others, like I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day, just needed the world to catch up to their brilliance. But all of them proved their staying power. They're not forgotten novelties. They're genuine classics that get better with age. If you're putting together a Christmas playlist this year, don't forget these gems from the 70s. They're not just nostalgic throwbacks. They're genuinely great songs that deserve to be heard, alongside the more famous classics. They remind us of a time when Christmas music was willing to take risks, to be different, to mean something beyond just selling records. The 70s might have given us some questionable fashion choices and some truly bizarre trends. But when it came to Christmas music, they absolutely delivered. These 10 songs are proof that the decade knew how to celebrate the holidays with style, soul, and substance. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, please like and subscribe. We'll keep bringing you the music and memories that made the past so special.